What's up guys, I'm Sean from Srkcycles, and this is a 2009 Harley-Davidson Electroglide Ultra Classic with 78,000 miles. I'm gonna tell you that is no amount of miles. Cue the intro. So not only is the Ultra Classic or the Electroglide a staple in the Harley-Davidson lineup, it's also a staple in just the motorcycle lineup of all motorcycles. It really is one of the classic, just awesome, big, bad motorcycles. It's done such a good job at kind of showing the American experience. It's a common thing for Americans to have on their bucket list. I'm gonna do a cross-country tour on a Harley-Davidson. And of course, the Harley-Davidson of choice would be one of the most comfortable Harley-Davidsons out there, which would be the Ultra Classic. Doing a cross-country trip on a Harley-Davidson is such a big deal that people come from other countries to America to buy a Harley-Davidson just to tour across the country. This bike is rocking the 6-speed transmission, the 96 cubic inch big V-twin. 2009, they also did the throttle by wire. Also in 2009, you'll notice the much larger rear tire. This bike is rocking the Vance & Hines pipes and also these little tiny roof hats. I don't know what they're called, but I think they're kind of cool. Tons of storage in the tour pack. Also in the saddlebags, you put a bag on top of the rack. Where most motorcycles are made and designed for one person, that's the rider, the Electroglide was made and designed for two people. Super comfortable for the back. Obviously, these speaker covers do not come stock with Black Widow spider covers on them. Not a huge fan. Also, I hate these stupid grips. I think they feel so bad. Honestly, the stock Harley grips feel better than that. So this bike is at 78,000 miles. Now I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's a lot of miles. And it is a lot of miles, but my personal Harley Road King with the 110 cubic inch has 98,000 miles. My last Road King with the 88 cubic inch engine before this had 115,000 miles on it. I've seen tons of Road Kings, 150, 160,000 miles. There's tons of Harley-Davidsons do these types of miles because people love riding these bikes. So in the Electroglide, you'd have the full stereo. Some have the option for CB, this one does. You also have the comm system between you and the back passenger. You've got cruise control, you've got turn the speakers off, you got the spotlights. It really has all the features that you would get in a decent car, and the newer ones are going to have the nav and stuff like that. The passenger even has radio controls over here and on the other side. It really is a comfortable, great bike. Now a lot of people call these old man bikes. I'm not really with them on that one. Kind of in the same way that older men normally have better houses than younger men, nicer cars than younger men, and just generally nicer stuff than younger men, then absolutely this is an old man bike. But it's an old man bike that, like most cool things that people have, I kind of aspire to have one. These are great bikes, they're tons of fun, really comfortable. I'm 6'2", and it's just one of the most comfortable seating positions where my feet are a little bit in front of me. A gold wing is gonna sit more like this, which I also like, but a lot of people really prefer this. You can't put highway pegs on them, so you can put your feet up on here. These lower fairings are great, it's gonna keep the wind off of you. This is truly one of those bikes that you can ride all year round when people put heated grips and heated seats on it. But let's go for a test drive. All right, guys, let's do the test drive. Let's do the words of wisdom. Bam, Psalms 23:4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Amen. All right, guys, let's put on our M1 Moto gloves. One of the baddest, only gloves lined with Kevlar. The only gloves I wear. If you guys are interested in the gloves, check them out on the link below. All right, let's do the test drive. And let's do the test drive doing the speed limit. All right, 78,000 miles. Does that sound like a lot of miles to you? Because it does not sound like a lot of miles to me, considering all of my cars and trucks have like over 300,000 miles. Not all of them, just some of them. I love these bikes. They are super, super comfortable. They're good bikes. They got that nice V-twin rumble. that everyone loves, including myself. And even though Harley keeps on improving and making bigger, better, more powerful engines, they do continue getting smoother, but they still maintain that nice rumble. You know, it used to be that, like, if you had like an 88 cubic inch and you were parked, it vibrates so much you couldn't really see out of the mirrors. And you know, they're constantly getting smoother and smoother and better. It's the 96 cubic inch. I like this engine. This is a variation of the twin cam, and it is a really great motor. I've seen a lot of these things well over 100,000 miles. And honestly, it's all just how you maintain. It's all just how it's been maintained. Interesting enough, I've sold, I don't know, 700 Harleys in the past couple of years. And you know, Harley has this reputation for they leak oil. I can assure you that's not a current Harley reputation. That is a old Harley reputation, and that's a Harley reputation from Harley-Davidsons that have not been maintained. There's a lot of Harleys out there. There was a time in Harley's life where they came from the factory. These are the AMF days. They put oil pans underneath them to catch the oil from the factory. That's bad. Those were bad, dark, scary days. Those are not these days. That was a long time ago. It's interesting that all the Harleys that I've ever owned that leaked, they're almost never touring bikes. Why is that, you may ask? I'll tell you why that is. Because people that spend money on these touring bikes, and it's not cheap, but people that spend money on these things brand new and the second owner and third owner, if it's leaking oil, they're gonna fix it. It's that simple. They're gonna fix it. If they can't have a bike that's leaking oil, that's horrible, you know? For multiple reasons. If it leaks oil and you run over the oil that you just leaked, and you get oil on the back of your tire, that's not good. Also, if you leak too much oil without noticing it, you know, your engine you could have engine problems. Your engine needs oil. Is that new? What's going on over there? I've never seen that farm before. Looks like they're building a big old flat track. So these things are just great cruising bikes. This one's got Vance & Hines pipes. It's got some noise to it, but it's not too loud. I don't like loud, obnoxious bikes. You can ride this, and if you ride on the highway, most likely you hear more wind than you hear exhaust. And the exhaust is pretty far back there, and there's a lot of seat and saddlebags and everything that's kind of keeping the sound away from me. You got full gauges in this bike. The radios are very modifiable. Even stock, they sound good. They get loud enough that you can hear them when you're cruising on the highway or speeding on the highway, which I do not do or try to avoid doing. And all your buttons are all right here. You almost don't need to do anything on the actual radio. You can do everything with the buttons right here. Cruise control is all right there. This specific bike was actually maintained very heavily at Harley-Davidson, which when I'm taking my bikes, when I'm getting my bikes worked on, I also just take them to Harley-Davidson. I've just had the best experience with a Harley trained certified technician because they've worked on them so many times. Now, if you know a guy and he works on a lot of Harley-Davidsons, he's got his own shop, I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure that works out, and you might be able to save a couple bucks. But if you have a tough question that no one else can find, you got to take it to Harley. It's just, you're gonna save money doing it that way. So these are big bikes. There's no doubt that they are big bikes, but they are actually much more nimble than what you think a large bike like this would be. And if you don't believe me, you should watch those cop videos. Watch those police videos of what the police officers can do with these extremely large bikes, and just like, I mean, they're doing figure eights inside of a lane. You know what I mean? It's like that was not even possible. It's very, very impressive. I would actually like to get into one of those schools just to see if just to learn how to do it. You end up dropping the bike a lot, and you get used to picking up these are fairly heavy bikes. You get used to picking these things up all the time, which is super cool. All right, guys, that wraps up this test drive. This bike is currently available for sale on Srkcycles.com. I don't know what the price is off the top of my head. Go look it up. We have a lot of bikes up there. If this bike is sold, hey, we get new bikes in all the time. And if you guys are interested in these M1 Moto gloves, let me show them real quick. And we have two different types. This is the cruiser bike style. I wear these when I ride cruiser bikes. Click on the link below. There's a link below somewhere. M1 Moto gloves or bikesandbeardsgear.com or something like that. You can buy them right there on the website. Alright guys, that wraps it up. We'll see you later. Do not forget to subscribe. And remember, it's not what you're riding, but where you're going.